So I'm just going to get started here. I just want to say thank you to every single person who's here today, both the panelists and the students, and I guess some other friends that joined in today. So thank you guys so much for taking the time. If you are in SS3 and you're here, I just want to wish you good luck during your I guess your senior Y. Yeah, I want to wish you good luck doing your YX. So thank you for taking the time. I'd miss you having YX, so we really appreciate it. So myself and Anthony will be running this session today. Just some table talks. Please do not forget to mute yourself when you're not speaking, and turn on your video if you feel comfortable. And just so you know, this Zoom session is being recorded by Zoom, and it's going to save onto my desktop. So I guess the most important thing here is that you all just have fun during the session. And I think I want it to be as interactive as possible. And most importantly, I want everyone to have fun and be able to ask their questions. So as we go on, I just want you to, if you have any questions during the sessions, please write it down in the chat, and then we'll read the questions out when it's time for Q&A. And also during Q&A, you can use the raise hand function to ask your questions. So our agenda for today is very brief. We're just going to talk about who we are and what we do. And I will introduce myself, a little bit more about myself in the host introduction, and the other host will introduce himself. Then we'll have a little icebreaker where I get to know who you are and you guys get to know the people on the call a little bit more. Then we'll have the most important part, the panel discussion, where I ask the panel a couple of questions that we have for them. And we'll tell you a little bit about what other initiatives we have coming up, and we can end off with some Q&A. So if you have your questions, make sure to write it down. All right. So who are we? So Early Insight Concept is an independent establishment aimed at providing experiential learning opportunities for driven high school students like yourselves. So our values is really around committing to delivering a long-lasting relationship for both personal and professionally for you guys in the call. And our mission is to empower Nigerians to succeed in post-secondary school education. So helping you reach that maximum potential that we know you can through mentorship, and having like a sponsor or just someone that has been through what you're going through and be able to guide you to get into the best possible outcome you can reach. So the services we provide, we have a wide range of services from educational guidance and counseling. So pretty much what we're doing right now is under the educational guidance webinar, telling you about things to look in mind for academic purposes, and one-on-one educational counseling, which we'll talk a little bit more on later on. Then career guidance and counseling. So when you're in university, things like internship and I guess work experience and building your resume, your cover letter, your CV, those are also opportunities to provide at Early Insight. And finally, work experience placements. So this is post-COVID, so we'll talk a little bit more about that later on. But keep in contact with us and follow us on our social media platforms to know when these initiatives come out. Right, so I'm going to introduce myself. My name is Ada, and I'm in my fourth year at the University of Waterloo in Canada in the Accounting and Financial Management program. So I've had a variety of internships from MMP LLP, where I worked in assurance and taxation, and most recently financial analyst at Toyota Financial Services. I would have the second host introduce himself.
Hello everyone, I'm Anthony. I went to my undergrad, I've studied automotive engineering in the UK at Loughborough University, and then I've completed a master's at Warwick Business School in Management of Information System and Digital Innovation. I'm currently working at Accenture as a tech consultant. I'll pass back to Ada to carry on.
Right, thank you, Anthony, for that quick introduction. So we're going to do a little icebreaker. So if you guys could go to www.menti.com on your phone or your laptop, and you're going to have the code. Just once you go in, you're going to have to just type the code. So I'll let Anthony share the screen for that.
Everyone, let me know when you can see my screen, please.
So I can see your screen.
All right, sweet.
Yeah, good to see.
Okay.
So the code is at the very top there. So if you could, use the code and fill up, just answer your questions, like the questions based on what you want to do. Once again, the code is at the very top. So 2366628. And the website is www.menti.com. Okay. I don't think anybody wants to school in Nigeria, but it's cool.
Wow.
So just can we go to the next question? I see there's still some people filling up this one, but we see where the large numbers are coming from: Canada, the UK. Oh, there's one person that wants to school in Nigeria. Okay, amazing. There's more people for Nigeria.
Wow, I'm surprised that we have so little people going to the US. I was expecting it to be more.
Corona is outside.
Yeah, I'm guessing that as well. And the new president is not actually the person. Yeah, it's not one you want to deal with. And do you notice something just popped up at the bottom?
Yeah, you can write on it. So can we go to the next question? Oh, I think there's still some more people, but we can go to the next question now.
Okay. One sec. So, what 3 words describe how you feel about going into post-secondary education? I think it should have popped up on your screen to answer this question. So, I don't know. Anything?
So, pretty much just tell us what you feel about what comes to your mind, or how you feel when you have to talk about going to university or going to college. For me, I know during my time I felt I was excited, to be honest, because I wanted to leave my parents' house. So I had excited. I was definitely confused. I say confused. I was very confused. Like, I'm still very confused. I'm not even going to lie to you. I was very confused. Somebody said not okay. I feel like that person is going through a little bit of something. Okay, not okay. Someone is happy. Yeah, I feel that happy too, man. I was actually very happy until it hit you. Maturity. Okay, I feel that too.
There's a lot of excitement in the room. That's good.
I see somebody's using an iPad and the person is trying to write it down for the galaxy. Okay.
I didn't even know you could do that, to be honest. That's news
Someone
to me.
said hard, freedom, joyful. Okay, this is very, it's very interesting. All right.
And the person with the iPad, stop scribbling, please.
Confused. Okay, we see you feel confused. I mean, I could tell from the iPad. All right. Okay. I think we can go back to the presentation now. We have a good idea of what people, I guess, what people are feeling as per going to university. And I just want to say that everything you felt, I can say for myself, I felt most of those feelings. I did not feel hard, like it was going to be hard, because I was more excited about leaving home and living away from home and going to a different country. So I think that is for me. But thank you guys for sharing. We appreciate that. So we're going to go right into the panel discussion. I think is the biggest part of the event for today. So this is our group of panelists, and we're going to have them introduce themselves, because I don't want to introduce them because I don't think I can do justice for them as well as they will do for themselves. So we're going to have the panelists introduce themselves. So just unmute yourself and then speak, and then mute yourself back. So anybody who wants to go first can kick it off, or I would call you out.
Hello, guys. Hey, everyone. It's great to be here. I'm happy to talk about everything we're talking about today. My name is Gabriel Okoye. I'm a mechanical engineering student at the University of Waterloo. I'm entering my final year this September, and yeah.
Thank you, Gabriel. Can somebody else go next?
Hey, can everyone hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, Ken.
Okay, my name is Ikenna. I am a graduate from University of Massachusetts, Amherst in the US. I graduated with industrial engineering, but I just finished my master's at Duke in business analytics, and I'm working in account management right now with a company called Nigel Frank. It's nice to meet everyone, and I'll be very glad to answer any questions that you guys have in the future. Thanks.
Thank you, Ikenna, for joining us. Can we have Janelle or Thomas? Esther says she wants to go last, so.
Hello, everyone. My name is Janelle Lusalagwa. I am currently a commercial manager with G4S. I graduated from University of Leicester in the United Kingdom 2 years ago, and then I did my master's at University of Liverpool. I did high school in Nigeria at the Capital Science Academy in Abuja, and I'd be happy to answer any of your questions.
Thank you, Janelle, for joining us. Just fun facts about Janelle: we actually went to school together in Nigeria, Capital Science. So I really do appreciate the support and the, how do I put it? Yeah, I guess the support in general. So can we have Thomas introduce himself?
Hi, everyone. I am Thomas Iberi. I had my undergraduate studies at Babcock University. I studied computer science. Right now, I'm at the University of Waterloo. I'm studying electrical and computer engineering, specializing in artificial intelligence and machine learning. Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Thomas, for introducing yourself. And I think the last panelist is Esther. I don't know if Esther is shy. I don't know if I should just introduce Esther for you all. Let me see.
Adam, maybe her network isn't so great.
Oh, Princess, do you mind introducing Esther?
All right. Esther is a computer science graduate. She graduated from Babcock University. She went to the Capital Science Academy in Abuja. She's currently she's done with her NYC. She currently has her own business. She's into fashion designing and clothes and everything. So yeah,
Right.
that's all.
That's the very last person, Esther. And the person who just introduced Esther is Princess. And I'll have Princess introduce herself just so you guys know who just spoke.
Hi, my name is Princess. I'm a biochemistry graduate from Babcock University. I also went to Capital Science Academy in Abuja. I'm done with NYC, but I'm currently pursuing a medical career in Lincoln American University in Guyana.
Thank you, Princess, for for filling in for Esther. I appreciate that. So we're just going to go into the questions for the panelists, and I'm just going to read out the questions, and we'll have them take turns to answer the questions. So the very first question for the 5 of you guys is: how did you decide what course to study and what university to go into? So can we have Gabriel go first?
Sure, no problem. For me, I kind of decided, my best subjects in school were like, physics, further math, and I kind of determined that I'd like to apply those principles in solving like real world problems. So for me, it was going to be an engineering program for sure. Deciding what engineering program was really just based on, the career opportunities that were available in each field. And I chose mechanical engineering because it was the most versatile, and I'd have the most versatile industry. I could work in different industries after I graduate, so I didn't have to decide exactly where I wanted to end up in before, going to school. So that was my thought process.
How did you decide what university to study in?
Oh, do you want me to go again for that?
Like, how did you, like, you said mechanical engineering, but how did you know University of Waterloo was the place you wanted to go?
For me, I decided University of Waterloo because I applied to schools in both Canada and the States. I was never really considering UK because, I was looking into places that would allow me to work full time and kind of immigrate later on. So it was between Canada and the States, and I decided University of Waterloo because, out of all the schools I applied in both Canada and the States, University of Waterloo was, the top ranked, and because of their co-op program, I'm able to get at least 2 years worth of work experience before I graduate. So it was, it seemed like the best opportunity for me to study mechanical engineering.
Okay, amazing. Gina, what about you? Do you mind telling us on how you decided what course to study and the school, how you decided what university to go in?
Okay, so my decision for the uni I went to was based, so in England there's a league table, so you can check what unis are kind of like the best based on different categories. So my dad is actually a solicitor, so it was kind of natural for me to go for law, because in high school I did art subjects. So yeah, I just filtered what universities are best for law, and I just tried to aim for universities more higher up on the league table. University of Leicester was actually my first choice. However, for A levels, I didn't do as well as I had hoped. So it was my second choice, and I ended up going there.
Okay, yeah, I think that's amazing. I think it's important to note that regardless, like even if you have a particular university as your first choice, that might not always be the place you end up going to. So for me, I know University of Toronto was my second choice. Waterloo was my first choice. So I mean, I'm just saying because some people do not actually end up going to the place that is their first choice, just to keep that in mind.
Excuse me. Can everybody please mute yourself, please? Can everyone please mute yourself? Thank you.
Okay, yeah, everyone is on mute now. So can we have Ikenna take a stab at that question? So how did you decide what university to go to and what course to study?
Or I actually started off with mechanical engineering, so that was basically something that was pushed on me, which is why I think this session is really important right now because when I first started out, it was just basically what I was good at in high school, what kind of subjects I was good at, and where I would best fit. But after my sophomore year, my second year, I kind of made a decision. I went to do something more analytical, which is what industrial engineering veers into. So I can definitely go more in depth on that. But in terms of the university, I picked UMass Amherst because I knew I wanted to be on the East Coast, first of all. And I knew I wanted to be in a college that is really close to other colleges. So UMass Amherst is actually a college that is surrounded by 5 other colleges in the area. So that was one of the biggest decisions, or one of the biggest things that made me pick that college because I knew I wanted to be around just a lot of in a college town as well. So I think that's what I would say.
Yeah, I think that's a very interesting point. So just as per the location of where you want to go to school, because I know some schools are located in like very, very outside of town where you're like alone. So I think that's a very interesting point, and I'm glad you mentioned that. So can I have, I guess, Esther? Or if Esther is not available, I'm sure Princess will be more than willing to speak for her. So Esther, do you mind telling us what school you went to and why you chose to study what you're studying?
Okay, I went to Babcock University in Nigeria. Originally, how I chose what I wanted to study, like I think Ikenna said, it was based on like what I like the courses I was good at. So there was ICT, there was French, I think geography, and I was looking at 3 of them. I'm like, okay, which one do I think I wouldn't mind doing for the rest of my life? So I chose ICT. And I think originally I wanted to do fashion design, but then my parents wanted me to study in a Nigerian university. for my first degree, and so I had to think of choosing something else because they didn't have fashion design. So eventually I chose ICT, and then I chose computer science, and then the choosing the university was based on what I think what was available, kind of, yeah. So that was how I made my own choice.
Yeah, I think it's interesting you mentioned the parents part of it, because parents do play a very large role in the decision we make for the university we go to. And we're not going to talk about it in this session, but it's something for you guys to keep in mind while, making your decisions for going to university. Like your parents would play some kind of role, but just keep it in mind in order to be able to, I guess, control what they can do or what they cannot do. So I'm just going to have Thomas go last on his own story on what course he studied and why he chose to do that and the university he chose to go to.
Yeah, thank you very much, Ada. So I was born into my dad is an electrical contractor, so he has electrical stores. So I was more or less born into that. I used to go there right from when I was a child. So it already influenced what I was going to study at the end of the day, because I was more or less interacting with most of the things he sells, and I was playing around with them. So when I got, and again, I had a few relatives that were into electrical engineering and electronics in general. But then in high school, I was, of course, by grace of God, I was pretty good at the sciences mostly. But when the decision came to go to uni, we had these issues with ASU strike and everything. And then at that time, I would say my dad took an informed decision and was like, okay, why don't you go to a private school? So I had to go to a private school, and then we're looking at, okay, which private schools offer electrical engineering. Unfortunately, I think it was just, Abroad and CU at the point, but my dad does not like, or did not like CU and Abroad, so I had to go to Babcock. Getting to Babcock does not do full engineering. So the closest thing they do in Babcock is computer science technology, which is a mixture of computer engineering and computer science. So I ended up doing computer science, and then I think at this point my masters have gone back and I'm following what I want to do, which is electrical engineering. So I think I've answered the question. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you for taking the time. So the next question is for people that are currently still going to school. So what is the biggest challenge you're facing right now due to COVID-19? So I guess Gabriel can go first because he's still in school. So what's the biggest challenge you're facing right now? I guess online learning or anything of that sort?
For me, I'd say the biggest challenge is, being in mechanical engineering, which is a very practical program. It's a bit difficult, like navigating some course projects or like labs and things like that, because now we have everything's online, like all your like lectures and all the projects are given online, so you don't have as many resources available to you, like by going to like libraries or like labs. So it's kind of tough in that area right now due to COVID.
All right. So if anyone on this conversation is thinking of going into university, I guess in January, like you might be in a situation where you have to study online. The process is totally different from what it's like studying in class, in my opinion. So just keep that in mind when making that transition or making that shift. So the next question is pretty much about the country you're studying in. So I guess it's related to the very first question. If any of you guys have anything to add on how you decided on what country it is to do your university at. I'm just going to start this one off because for me, my initial decision was to study in the UK, and the reason for that was because most of my friends, my best friend, my brother, were all in the UK, and I was like, oh, I really want to go to the UK because of the people. So that was my initial decision, and how I ended up coming to Canada was because, well, pretty much my dad and my mom came out one day and said, "You're going to Canada," and I was like, okay. So I don't really have a story as to why I ended up in Canada, but I'm happy to be in Canada regardless. So do you guys have any, I guess, any reasoning towards you choosing to do your post-secondary education in that part, in the country you are right now?
Well, I think I have a similar story. I was actually supposed to go to the UK. This is Ikenna, by the way. And yeah, because I had siblings in the UK as well, and they just had already like a community there. But I think my parents wanted me to be the first person that came to the US, just to at least have a link in the US. So it was basically similar to what happened to you as well.
I see. So they use you as a link. Okay, that's interesting. All right. Janelle, do you want to share about why you chose to go to the UK? I think I kind of already know, but do you want to tell others why you chose to go to the UK?
Okay. For me, I think it's similar to what you said. The people, I have family. I actually grew up here when I was younger, so I was just very familiar with this country. Also, my high school, we did IGCSEs, so it just seemed to make sense. And I think generally UK is it's easy to navigate. Yeah, I don't know how to explain what I mean by that, but I think, for instance, it's easy to get from place to place. You can kind of just figure your way out. It's just easy, but I don't know if I'm saying that because I'm already familiar with the country. But yeah, I think that's the reason why.
Yeah, I think it's interesting. So can you tell us, like, how when you go from secondary school to university, you have all this freedom and all this, I guess, flexibility in the sense of you can choose to go to class if you want to, unlike back in high school or secondary school where you have to go to class because everyone is going to class. So how did you balance this, your academic life, your personal life, amidst having all this freedom?
Okay, I think it's quite difficult at first because of like the huge transition. You're totally independent. I think it's just important to think about your goal, check your exam dates, just be aware of yourself and what you need to accomplish, and kind of maybe create a timetable and make it realistic. So give yourself enough time to, relax and play and have fun, but also know what you're there for really, and just plan accordingly. I think that is kind of what I try to do.
All right, that's interesting. What about the guys that studied in Nigeria, Thomas and Esther? How did you guys balance, like, I guess, everything that happens with, I guess, going out with friends in Nigeria and the likes of that? How did you balance both your academic life and your personal life? Any of you guys can go first.
Myself and Esther went to the same school. I think they must have said that already, and we're pretty much having the same set of classes. So we're pretty much also involved in some same activities. But basically for myself, I think I had a good set of friends, like-minded friends, and we're able to had a common goal, which was to make the best out of, where we were at the point. So even if anybody was going astray, you always had someone to always pull you back and put you back on track. So I'd say the company you keep is very, very important. You understand? It determines a lot along the way.
All right. Thank you, Thomas. So can we have, can we have Gabriel talk about, the transition, the life in Canada and how he was able to balance both his school and his personal life?
For me, I feel like it was more because when I came to University of Waterloo, one of the first things I did was to join the African Society on campus, and through that I was able to meet other Africans, especially like Nigerians, like mindsets and same programs. So once you're able to do that, then it's kind of easier because you have people online, so you can I guess have fun with them together and as well go to school, and you're not you don't feel like you don't have a balance, because I joined clubs and society just to keep me just keep it interesting, I guess, and then I balanced that with school. So just kind of keeping busy with something productive was one of the ways I kind of balanced my personal and academic life.
All right, great. Thank you for answering that. if you guys could give one piece of advice to your younger selves back when you were in secondary school or back when you were in high school preparing for university, what would that be? So anyone can go first. If there's one piece of advice you wish you knew, looking back, what would that be?
I think for me, I will tell myself to take it easy, to calm down sometimes, and just like take it easy, because there were times when I was doing so many things, and even though there were things I enjoyed doing apart from even schoolwork, I had a lot of extracurricular activities, and everything joined together with schoolwork, it was a lot, and I didn't really have time to like calm down and just take it easy. So I think the advice I'll give myself would be to calm down and just take things easy.
All right, thank you, Esther.
I think one thing Can I go?
Yes.
Okay, no problem. I think one advice I would say is to like prioritize making like I guess friends or like close friends within your program, because it's easy to want to just stick with the people like you already know that are in like various other programs, but the fact is it can be you might not understand the requirements, like maybe like your program might be more stressful or more strict, and you might not be it's easy for you to forget that you're in different programs and you actually need to you need like a different maybe work ethic or like a different way of doing things to kind of get to where you need. So I feel like, making friends within your program and like just understanding how the different different programs or your different friends might react to like, school or the workload they have based on their program can be different. So it's important to like know what is required of you in whatever program you are, I guess.
I think that's very interesting as well. Can we have Iken, Janelle, Thomas, any of?
So for me, yeah, back in, I think the advice I'm going to give myself is just to do more, because I was involved in a lot, and then I had this good time management skills back then that I'm even looking for right now. So I would advise myself to do more, and to always believe that it is going to work out, and take it one step at a time. There's so much time there. Nobody's rushing. We would all get there at one point or the other.
Oh, I think that's interesting. I think we have just Janelle and Ikenna left.
So yeah, I think for my younger self coming into college, I think I would advise myself to establish more connections from the get-go. I think that if that was something that I did, just like coming in and not just really focusing on just schoolwork, but establishing connections with professors or just people who are important, now that everything's virtual, just people who are important kind of like in your field or in something that you want to do, just really having like a human connection with them from early on. I think that's something that I would have done earlier, and I think that's something I'll advise myself to do going into college.
Mm-hmm. I think that's interesting as well. Finally, I think we have just Janelle.
Okay, so for my advice, I think I would tell myself to just, especially for first year, kind of just be more aware, take more control. I think coming from A levels where we were kind of more told what to do, in university, I was still expecting that kind of help, but you have to realize that you're 100% independent and you have to take that step yourself. To go find out what's going on, check your exam dates, check when you have to submit things, just to be more proactive. And that will definitely give you better results.
All right, thank you, Janelle. If you guys have any questions that you want to ask this panelist, you can always, something you want to know, you can always type it in the, I guess, in the chat box as well, and we'll read it out. So we're just that's all the questions I have drafted for the, the panelists, and we're just going to keep going until the very end where we ask all of your questions. So I'll just pass it on to Anthony to talk about what's next. But thank you again to the 5 panelists that came on to share their experiences. We really do appreciate it, and we hope to see you guys in the comment sessions. So Anthony, can you tell us about what's coming up next?
Yep. Thank you. Thank you very much, panelists. Before I go into what next, I want to just pick up something that Thomas said that I feel is really important about making the right friends at university or during your post-secondary education. I mean, I think, when you hear, show me your friends and I'll tell you who you are, it doesn't apply more than when it applies at university. Like, the importance of surrounding yourself with the right group of people really determines how you will go through your university experience. If you have people that are not motivated and are not trying to achieve, you're probably most likely going to end up like them. So the importance of finding a good friendship group and being able to, a good and resourceful friendship group is very important. So going up to what we're going to talk about, what's going to be happening next. So today we just have as you just listened to, a panelist session of people that are just from the UK, US, Canada, and Nigeria. But we're planning on having a deep dive session where we're going to focus on specific region, and we're planning on having those on the 19th and the 26th of September. The idea is we'll have a panelist just like what we had now, but we'll have region-specific questions that would hopefully give you a lot more insight on particular regions. We're planning to have 5 people from a diverse academic background, and we're going to have a Q&A, and we're also going to discuss with you guys and send you guys information on how to sign up for this session. For this breakout session, there's going to be a fee for that, but we're also going to let you know through the communications we send to you guys after this session. And can you hit the next slide, please? So some additional offerings what we offer, which we kind of spoke about in the second slide about what we do. We're going to be having one-on-one mentoring session, which is kind of part of what you'll be paying for. And basically, we're going to put you in pairs with people that are studying or people that have studied what you intend to study at university. And the idea is to give you a high-level overview of what their course entails, like everything you need to know from module specific, like what they've studied, how they found it, what they really enjoyed, what if they could go back, what they would have done differently, what they did properly. And also they'll go down to stuff like tips on how to succeed properly in this course, in the courses they're studying. Like, for example, I always use this example about people that go in to study business management, and one of the main parts that they all struggle in is accounting, which is like one accounting module they all have to do. And you imagine someone telling you that, oh, you don't want to miss this module because this is where we all fail. So you're going to get that level of insight from the one-on-one mentoring session. And also we're going to do CV and resume workshop where we help you guys write your first CV, and hopefully that places you above your peers doing when you come into the post-secondary education world. And before I finish, I'm going to put someone on the spot. So that's someone I've been working with, which is like my best friend cousin. And I've been working with her over the summer, and her name is Ebube, and she's going to just speak to you about her experience and what she's been able to achieve since we've been working together. So Ebube, if you can put your camera on, or sorry, if you want, or mute yourself and just speak to the room for 2 minutes, I will appreciate that.
Hi everyone. Like Anthony said, my name is Ebube, and I've been working with Anthony since I left secondary school. I did secondary school in Nigeria in Jesus Memorial College, and I've been working with Anthony. He helped me to put together a CV, and then I used this CV, and he also told me about some programs that I could sign up for. I could apply for using this CV, which would give me, put me, like I said, above your peers. So I signed up for some degree apprenticeships. I signed up for some insight weeks with certain companies, and I managed to get myself into a program, a digital insights week from a company called Deloitte. Obviously it was meant to be physical, but then because of our situations, it turned virtual, and that was a 2-day program. You gain a lot of insights from those working in the company, in like the company I said, Deloitte. So they told me about like what they do in the company, how is the digital side of it, because I'm interested in computer science and technology. So they told me, what they do in the technical aspect of their company. And then I also managed to get a mentorship program, a 6-month mentorship program in Accenture, which is the same company that Anthony works in. So I managed to get myself into that mentorship program, which at the end of the day, based on my performance with my mentor, I will be able to get into something called a degree apprenticeship, which you'll probably find out more about during the course of this early insight concept. So in the degree apprenticeship, a brief summary is you're studying and you're working at the same time. The company is paying for your university fees, and they're also paying you for the work you're doing for them. So yeah, and all of this I got from all the information that Anthony was giving me, and things that he was sending to me and advice that he was giving to me. So yes, that is how I have personally benefited from the early insights concept.
Thank you very much for that, Ebube. Just to highlight that Ebube is in her first year of A-levels, so just after SS3, she's going into her second year now. And something else to say is, when at this stage, during my time at this stage, I had no clue that companies had since targeted at year 11 of students at that age. So, and that's kind of what's made us to make this, to do what we're doing today, because we feel like having information could place you, just information could place you above your peers. And we're coming in from Nigeria. We don't really come in with love all this information. But on that note, I think that's the end of the meeting today. If you guys have got any questions, please fire away.
Yeah, just to add on to what Anthony said and what Ebube have said, I think I know they keep saying you're being placed above your peers, but in hindsight, you're not actually being placed above anyone, because if you're coming from secondary school in Nigeria, coming to like Canada or the US or the UK, we're just trying to make you competitive. We're just trying to put you in the same level as people here. So you're not going to be above them, because you're just going to be, at par with them. When I first came to Canada, I did not have a resume or a cover letter. Actually, I had a resume. You do not want to see it. It's like 7 pages long, and it had all this gibberish in it. You don't even want to look at it right now. I could show you if you really want to see it, but you don't want to. So right now, I have an actual resume that helped me get my internship opportunities. So not knowing this when I came to school in first year, I did not have to. I was struggling as per passing my exams and like doing school stuff, and I was still struggling to like be competitive while looking for jobs. So I think like more of this will be talked about in the next session as per particular regions. Say, for example, you want to school in Nigeria or the UK or Canada or the US. So there's so many things to learn about for when you're going to the US. Say I was speaking to one of my friends, Halima, and she was talking about this same thing that Ebube has talked about. So in the US, you can work for a company and they convert you to domestic education. So that pretty much means that you are no longer paying international fees. You're now paying domestic fees. So my friend Halima used to pay, I think, $31,000 for her tuition, and now she pays $5,000 so she doesn't pay that because she did not know about this opportunity earlier on. She heard about it when she was already in fourth year. So imagine if she knew this when she was in first year, she wouldn't be in this position right now. So various opportunities that we'll talk about in the next session as per particular regions. So I'm just going to ask anyone, if you have any questions, just unmute yourself and ask your question. But if you do not have any question, definitely connect with us on social media. I think there's one question in the chat from Favor. Favor, would you like to speak, or do you want me to read out your question?
We encourage you to speak because you're going to do a lot of speaking at university. So you might as well start practicing. A lot of presentations as well.
Yeah, Favor, there's not a lot of people, so if you want to ask you want to read it out? Okay, Favor is very shy.
Okay. Hello? Can everyone hear me?
Yep.
Okay, so basically what I want to know is like where are the list of companies that one can look at that offer these degree mentorship programs? because I honestly heard it from a friend of mine. But I heard I heard it from a friend, and I just want to know like what list of companies where to look, because in Nigeria it's basically lack of information. You get people don't really know where to look when it comes to this particular kind of thing. So like where can we look? Do you understand?
Yep. Can I take this one?
Yeah.
So my answer is going to be kind of biased towards the UK, and the thing is, there's no one list where you could just go and find all the companies that do mentorship or mentorship programs. I don't think such lists exist. But what you could do is the first having the initial idea of going for mentorship is like the first start, and then doing your research, and basically any company you could think of, going to their careers page and looking at opportunities. There's always going to be opportunities for undergraduates, graduate, professional, and then there's going to be for school. So if they have any place that has school, that's where you want to be looking at. And not every company does this, but a lot of companies do it. But it's just about being able to research and communicating with people, because there's no one list that would show you companies that do a mentorship. But if you're thinking about it and you're working towards it and doing research, I'm sure you'll be able to find something. But
yeah, so
yeah, once in the subsequent session, we are kind of working on getting stuff like a list for you guys to help it like easier for people to find, because what we're working on is like a roadmap that kind of highlights what you could do. I'm going to speak UK specifically now, from like A levels down to your third year uni. Obviously, at the end of university, what is attainable is a good job. But also at the end of A levels, or even within A levels, just as you can hear from ABB, there are things that are attainable, like mentorship, work experience that you could get up to. So we're planning to highlight those stuff that you could get up to on like a roadmap, which we hope the students will have in their laptop or posted on their, it's going to be a one-pager or posted on their room wall. And then you could see like different things you could get up to, key dates of when you could apply, also companies that you could apply to as well. So, yeah. And you were going to add to that.
Yeah, so I think Janelle is wants to say something. Sorry, Janelle, do you want to add on to Anthony's answer?
Oh no, it's just literally what I typed there. So Google will help you a lot. If you literally just type, for the type of program that you're looking for, answers will definitely come up. And like Anthony said, check the careers page of any company that you think you want to work for, Amazon, whatever you want. Just go and look for their careers page, and then it will have a lot of information for you on how to kind of join as a graduate or the mentorship program or whatever you want to do.
Thank you, Janelle. Does any other person have any questions to ask? While we wait, I just want to say at the end of this session, I'll be sending out an email to everyone who attended to give us feedback. So we really do care about your feedback. We want to know how we did. It will take you pretty much literally just 2 minutes to fill it up. So if you can, and they're like, some of them are multiple choice, so easy stuff, just so we know what we've done wrong and how we can improve going forward. I'm just going to let time go by a little bit more, just so that in case any other person have any questions to ask.
Do you have the email for everyone?
Yes, I do have most people's email addresses, but if you think I do not have your email address, if you could just write it in the chat, and I would have it.
Okay.
Thank you.
What's your name?
Send it to Early Insight Concept in the chat.
Also, I want to talk to Favor. Favor, right?
Yeah.
Favor, you can look into Norway. Norway, if you make it to a PhD or doctorate, they will pay you while you study for free.
Okay.
So yeah, that's I bet you have to learn the language though. It's just different. It's not in this country. But it's good. If you make it to your doctorate degree, they will be paying you up to $6,000 while you study.
Oh. Okay,
because
thank you,
they
sir.
want to retain you.
Students, please, if you could look on the chat and fill out the feedback form, it will literally take you guys 2 minutes. If you could do it now, we will really appreciate it.
There's a question from Nangwa. I'm sorry if I butchered your name. But the question is saying, if you choose a program and you want to switch, what is the easiest way to go about it? Does anyone on the panelists want to take this question?
So I think it depends on several factors. The first one is the course you want to switch to. Do they offer it in your school, as in your university? If they do that, then I think you can go to the registry or student support service, and then you can pick up a change of course form. Because I remember back in my undergraduate days, so many people did that. Some people were in psychology and then they preferred anatomy and then they were able to switch. Or if you don't have that course in the uni you are currently in, it's either you finish that or you apply to another university. Thank you.
Just to add to what Thomas said, like it's usually when you're switching programs, it's usually the earlier the better for sure, because a lot of times what happens in universities is, programs, classes are failed, so like you might want to switch and you try, but the class is failed and you can't switch. So it's always like better to do like earlier, like maybe after first or second year. And as well, like it's also easier if you already have like good grades, because a lot of people usually want to switch around. They prioritize people with better grades for switching programs. I'm talking my school specific anyway. I imagine it might be different in other schools, but that's usually how it works. And if the program you're switching to is more closely related to the program you're already in, you might be able to just switch, without losing any credits. Or sometimes you might have to start again from like first year. So you have to kind of know all of that, kind of have that in mind before you plan or hope to switch later in your, course of your program.
Can I just add also, for England, I think it's much more difficult to switch. So if you're thinking about coming here, it's very important that you make your mind up about what exactly it is you want to do. I think for international students also, you might even have to get a different visa if you're changing your course, or you might have to redo the year. It's a big deal here. So you kind of have to make up your decision before coming to university. It would be quite difficult for you to just choose to switch randomly.
Oh, thank you, Janelle. I didn't even know that. So what about Ikenna? Ikenna, is there anything different in the US in terms of switching courses or like changing a major? I don't think Ikenna is.
I'm in US, so no problem. US is not a problem. It's not a problem here. It's not difficult here to change if you want to switch, especially if you are local. But if you are a foreign student, it's a little bit difficult. Like, was it Janelle that just spoke now?
Yes.
Okay. Like Janelle said, it's better. The best bet is to make up your mind what you want to study before coming. Make your research, properly. Don't come here and start. Remember, time is money. When you switch subject, you're wasting time now. And you're wasting your money. You're wasting the future. You're going backward. Make up your mind, make a proper research from people that are already in the country you're going to before doing anything. If you come, because most people, like, for example, a lot of people come to US to study something engineer-related subject, but then when they come, they see that job opportunities mostly in the medical field. They switch to medical field. They don't even like to be a nurse. They don't even like to be around anything. It's just doing that because of the money they earn. One thing, this is a lifetime decision. When you study something, it's your lifetime decision. You want to be able to do something that will make you happy for the rest of your life. Don't do something because of the money, financial security. If you're in a first world country, you will always have money. You always have opportunity for job. It's not like a third world country that is difficult. You can do anything to make money, but make sure you study what you love to do. Like I think was it Gabriel that said he tried to study. Oh, not Gabriel, it's the other guy. I think I don't know if he's there. He tried to study mechanical engineer, but because the school didn't have it, he has to switch to computer science and stuff like that. I'm not sure. I mean, I'm not sure he liked that, but now he wanted to do electrical engineer, right, or electrical whatever. So
Yeah, that's Thomas. Yes.
at least he was able to understand that that's what he wanted to do. He still went back to that. But if you make that decision initially, like early on, it will save you a lot of times, headache, money too, and you'll be
Right.
happy doing that instead of going to country and start making being undecisive. It's not or indecisive or undecided. It's not good. Always decide first. Make your research prior to coming to the country. You go, you do that, you go out. If you want to be a pilot, make up your mind. Come here, study the pilot, go back or stay here, whatever you want to do. But make sure you make that decision ahead of time.
All right. Thank you very much for adding to that question. Akudo, do you have a question? Do you want to read it out? I think Janelle already took a stab at it, but just so every other person can hear her say it.
Yeah, like so in university, like what clubs should we join? Like, are there like some particular clubs? Because since there's not going to be like how be able to balance the clubs and like extracurricular activities and schoolwork and everything, is it really advisable to join extracurricular activities?
Okay, I'll let Janelle do justice to this one because she already started talking about it in the chat.
Sorry, please, could you just briefly ask the question again?
Oh, I'm like, what clubs, like, are there some particular extracurricular activities that is better to join? It's better for us to like join because of, it might not be easy to like balance everything with university life and having to go for like club meetings and stuff like that.
Okay, so for England especially, with clubs, it's not so important in terms of, it won't really add that much value to like your credentials. So it's kind of like in your free time, you do them in your free time. It does like make an impact because it shows what you're interested in to your employers, but you can kind of do anything and it won't really make a difference. So that's why I say you should just choose based on your interests. And in terms of it taking up your time, I think the most tasking will be like sports related. For example, some of my friends were in football clubs and they had to go for training like 3 times a week. So in that aspect, it kind of took a lot of their time. But if they're interested in it, they could definitely find a way to balance it regardless. So I think the university sets up the clubs in a way that it doesn't, you would still be able to completely focus on your studies anyway. So for clubs and societies and extracurricular, I would definitely say just look at the long list and choose exactly what you want to do. And it shouldn't be based on anything else because you definitely would still be able to find that balance with studying and going for these extracurricular activities.
Okay, thank you.
I got my scholarship, yes, sports. So when you're an athlete for the school, they have separate schedule for the athletes, so it doesn't interfere with your studies. Like,
amazing.
If you practice in the morning and your class is supposed to be in the morning, they will shift that class to afternoon or after a practice. So it does not interfere. The school are very good in working out a good schedule for the athlete.
Mm-hmm.
So
thank you. Yeah. Gabriel, do you have something to add for clubs?
Yes, actually. Yeah, I'd like to add to that because I feel like it's probably, maybe it's just kind of different, but I feel like for most schools it is. So for like joining clubs, I find that it can be very beneficial to join clubs or like teams that are very that are related to your program. For example, I'm in mechanical engineering and there's a Formula Motorsports design team where they basically, you know, like engineers come together and design a sports car and engage in like competitions. So employers look into those kind of teams or clubs for when they are like hiring because they know they've gotten all those exposure to like, you know, actual practical experience. So I found that very very useful for me because, you know, it opened up a lot of networking opportunities and things like that. So I feel like, you know, if you're looking for a, you know, best bet for your time, like especially if your time is so your time will probably be like very important if you're in like a very, difficult program. Like joining a club like that, I found it was, even almost more useful than my actual academic experience when it comes to like getting employed and getting a job, because you're getting practical experience from those kind of clubs, practical like job experience. So
I see. Thank you. Thank you for adding that, Gabriel. So Priscilla has a question. She's asking what we think about a double major. So I don't know if there's anyone here who's doing a double major, but if anyone wants to take a stab at that, and if you could also talk about the advantages and the disadvantages of living on or off campus.
Yeah, I could start with the living on or off campus, because I went to a campus-based university. Before let me just go first. So with living on campus, I think the main thing you gain living on campus is being close to all your lectures. Because for me, I could wake up, my lectures could be at 9, I could wake up at 8:30, shower and walk to my lecture in like 10 minutes. I mean, that flexibility and that like closure to your lecture, I think it does help a lot, because a lot of people do miss lectures because of they live off campus and they have to get a bus, or they have to miss what do you call it, or they have to and probably the bus could be filled most times or stuff like that. But I'll tell you one disadvantage of living on campus is most times living on campus will be more expensive, because you are paying for security and everything that comes with campus, living on campus. So it would probably be more expensive to live on campus as opposed to getting a place off campus. But what I would advise is in your first year, try and live on campus so you get a feel of, so you, like obviously your first year in a new city, you don't want to try to figure out moving around that city when you're trying to go for lectures. So if you live on campus, it makes it a lot easier for you to access what you need from living on
Thank you,
campus.
Anthony, for taking a stab at that question. So I can take the double major one because I have some friends that are doing double majors, and I'll just say it's all about what you can handle, because in hindsight, if let's say you choose to do science and business, because at the University of Waterloo, there's an option to have science and business. I would say while applying to university, apply for the double major if you want that. Then along the line, you can leave one of them if you're unable to handle it. But if you go into university doing one major and then choose to add another major, it might be a little bit taxing, because then you have to meet a certain average or a certain grade to add another major. So if you want to do double majors, make sure to take it in the beginning, and then along the line, you can decide not to do it, or still do it. But I think that's a very interesting question. So Nana is asking, do you guys have any website or tips on how to find future jobs? So that would be in the comment section, and to be particular to what region you want to be in. So just look out for the invite for the comment sessions. I think the next question is, what's your advice on co-op, and do all programs do co-op? So I'm going to ask Gabriel to take a stab at this one.
So I would say co-op is very beneficial. It's ridiculous how important it can be. Well, actually, I don't want to say how important, because a lot of schools don't do co-op. It's a very niche thing, and not all programs do co-op either. In Waterloo, a lot of the science programs, all engineering programs, co-op is compulsory. And so far, my experience with co-op, I've gotten to work in different industries, gotten to know what jobs and what industry I like and don't like. And, it's, kind of making me better prepared for full-time opportunities, because, you graduate with all these connections and all this experience. So I think it's been, definitely a great thing to have co-op.
Yeah, I'm going to ask Janelle to talk about having an internship opportunity while in university. What's your advice on that? And do the schools in the UK, I guess, help you with that, or because I really do not even know.
Okay, so for the UK, I think your best bet is if you want to do a placement year. So most courses are 3 years, and then you can choose in your third year to work in industry in a company. And I think that's a very good idea, because usually if you do well, the companies might keep you on, or give you an opportunity when you graduate because they've already seen how you work during your placement year. But apart from placement year, you're kind of on your own in terms of gaining work experience. But the universities do provide on their websites, vacancies and careers advice. So there's a department specifically that you can go there and talk to them and ask questions. But like I said, it's all on you. You have to be proactive. You have to go there and ask these questions. You have to be interested in what you're doing. No one is going to do that for you. So I know that sounds a bit scary, but it's really not. And there's a lot of support available for you. But yeah, it's actually down to you, and you would have to do that research by yourself.
Thank you, Janelle. Someone is asking, oh my God, what kind of question? Someone's asking if it's necessary to have any work experience while joining the business program. I can answer that because I'm not in a business program, but it's something similar. You do not need any kind of work experience to join a business program, but you need to have work experience when you're done from the business program. So just keep that in mind. I have a couple of work experiences, and I'm still working on getting a little bit more before applying for full-time opportunities next year. But you do not need work experience before going into university. Nana is asking, are university teachers as mean as people say, or do high school teachers exaggerate? In my experience, my university teachers are the kindest people. Nope, except one man. My accounting 101 teacher, he was not a nice man. But all of my professors have been very nice and very attentive, and they listen to all your questions and they try their best to make sure you succeed. That's in my own opinion. I don't know what it's like for the people in the UK. Do you guys want to share on if you have main professors or they're nice?
I mean, yeah.
Can you go?
Yep, sure.
Okay, in the UK, I'll just say this, nothing is personal. Your lecturers really don't think about you on a personal level. You're kind of very on your own. They do their thing, you do your thing. If you have any questions, you can always go meet them in their offices. There's just nothing that is really extra about it. Yeah, and there's nothing that you really need to worry about. They're all approachable, most of them. There might be the few ones with the moods and the attitudes, but it's not personal. So yeah, it'll be fine.
But then again, to add to what Janelle said, if you want to have a relationship with your lecturer, you could go out of your way to make that happen. And from what I've experienced with my university, okay, in my final year, there's this one lecturer that I decided to have a personal relationship with, and I actually go to his office and sit down and discuss after the lectures. I discuss I come to him with questions and we actually discuss, and that module happened to be the module I got the highest in my whole university experience. And I know those students that always get first class in every module, I've heard that they always have this kind of relationship with all of their lecturers. So it's an extra effort, but and it's not easy to build because you actually have to take your time out to go sit with these people that you might not even relate with. But if you can find a way to have a personal relationship with your lecturer, I think it could do you more good than harm. But then again, if you don't, it doesn't actually take a lot out of you, if you feel.
Right. So I'm just going to look at Sam's question where he said, how often do we hold this session? So this is the very first one that we're holding. It's a very new initiative. So if you want more information on the correspondence or how it's going to go, you can definitely shoot us an email, and I'll have Anthony write down the email address in the chat section, and then we can talk a little bit more about that. So definitely the time is it's almost up, and I'm going to read the other questions, and Janelle is going to be here to answer alongside Gabriel and myself. But if you want to leave, you can totally do that. Please tell your friends about this session, this event, to come for the next one, and we'll be sharing that information with you guys for the next coming sessions. So I guess the next question is, let me see. Does co-op extend your time of study? It depends on the school you go to. At the University of Waterloo, co-op does not extend your time of study because you do not have any summer holidays. So you're going to school, you're doing work year round from January to December. no summer break. So yeah, maybe during the summer you'll be working or you'll be in school. So that way you still get to graduate 4 years in, but you just have no summer holiday. The next question is, I think there's a lot of questions coming in now from Farmata. Please, what are the major steps or advice you give students or are yet to choose a career? I'm so confused.
Please, what's the major step or advice you give to them that are yet to choose? I think what they study and a career as well.
Oh, I think we talked about that in the beginning of the session. So if you still, if Farmata wants to know more about that, you can definitely join the individual sessions. But everybody already talked about major advice. Esther said to calm down. Thomas said to do more. I believe Janelle said something about knowing yourself and being accountable. And Ikena gave us a bunch of his own tip as well.
And Sam said something about research as well.
Yes, that is correct. And the next question is, if you study in a particular country, is it easy to get opportunities in other countries?
It's not easy.
Yeah, Gabriel can take this one. I think he has some friends.
Yeah, I can speak on that. So at least working, so it depends on the country. So like schooling in Canada, if you say you want to work in the States or something, or somewhere around North America, or even in Europe, really, it's not easy per se, but it's just like applying to any other jobs within the country, because at the end of the day, what happens is that only the top companies can afford to hire people from other countries, because most times, smaller companies are now going to be hiring from other countries. So like you'd see most of the time you see corporate companies like Google, like the top tech companies, or like companies that are really big in their field. Those are usually the people that will be able to hire people from other countries. And it's just, as long as your experience is good, as long as you have the experience and you qualify for the job, it's not harder. It's you're almost like you're considered an applicant. You're considered as well as as much as an applicant from their country, pretty much. So it really just comes down to your what experience you have and what companies you're applying to, because not a lot of companies can afford to pay your visa fees and everything to study in a different country.
Gabriel, do you have like a personal story you would like to share concerning this whole situation? I know you have one.
Oh, sure, yeah. So I school at the University of Waterloo in Canada, and like a lot of the big tech companies like Google, Apple, they're all located in California in the United States. So I've applied to a lot of those companies in California, and I've gone interviews with all the big tech companies, Google, Apple. So like I found that it wasn't it's not so much me being from Canada that makes it hard. It's just you have to build your resume, you have to have the right skills to actually get those opportunities to interview. And like once you do, as long as the companies that would be hiring you, they're usually most likely capable of affording your visa fees, and they take care of everything transportation and stuff. So that's like one of the most important things you need to look for when you're applying to work in other countries, because it can be expensive if you don't if your company isn't, I guess, rich enough or successful enough to take care of that. So yeah, that was my experience applying pretty much.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Gabriel. So I think this is pretty much the end of it. Like it's already 1:30 in Canada. So again, thank you all so much for coming. A big thank you to Janelle for really helping and answering all the questions that everyone had and giving her insights from the UK. We really do appreciate it. Thank you, Esther, for your insight from Nigeria, alongside Thomas and Gabriel, for covering Canada the best way it could possibly be covered. Thank you to everyone who asked questions. Nana, Sarah, thank you, Sam, for your insight on the UK. And to every participant, thank you. And I hope you can share this with your friends and your relatives going forward. And we hope to see you guys in the coming weeks, in the coming sessions, and enjoy the rest of your week. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, and stay safe. And COVID-19 is outside, so
please do our feedback I think the 9 students have done the feedback. So if the rest of you can do the feedback, we're also going to send the feedback in the email about how to sign up for that session. So if you please give us feedback, so we'll make it better for you next time. We appreciate that. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Don't you think we could create like a WhatsApp group for this forum so that we can constantly ask questions when it comes to your mind? Because sometimes people come here and they forget what they wanted to ask, or sometimes they don't have the opportunity to be here because they're working or doing other things. So the WhatsApp forum would be easier to navigate all this before you make the Zoom meeting. Zoom meeting will be brief. If you have a WhatsApp.
Okay, I think that's a very good idea. So as Sam has mentioned, you guys should please keep your eyes open for a WhatsApp group so you can all join and we can be able to facilitate quicker conversations amongst ourselves. So having said that, thank you all so much again. We really appreciate the effort and the time put into being here with us today. Thank you to some of the parents that showed up to watch this. We hope to see you guys in the next session and enjoy the rest of the day and goodbye.